What if I told you that you're smothering your potential every single time you need to know how everything is going to work out or when it's going to work out? If you have a dream or something you want to accomplish or anything, how your dream life is going to work out, needing to know how it's all going to work out usually is the thing that holds us back from actually walking the path to get there. There's a really good quote that Robin Williams said in Good Will Hunting. He said, "You're too scared to take the first step because you're worried about what's going to happen 10 miles down the road," or something along those lines. I think it's really applicable because we do the same thing. We might have an idea or an inspiration or a calling within, and a lot of times we don't follow that calling because we're too worried about how it's going to work out. It doesn't seem to make sense to our own limited logical thinking mind. So, we think about it, we try and figure it out, but we can't. So, we don't usually take that first step. But that taking that step is the key to you living that dream, most likely. It wasn't given to you by accident, that idea or that insight or that inspiration. It wasn't given to you by accident. It was given to you by something greater than your own logical thinking mind to help you live the life that you want to live, that more fulfilling or purposeful or impactful life. But if we get so used to living from that limited logical thinking mind that's conditioned from the past and what we have seen in the past or what we know from what other people have done, we're only going to live the same life that everyone else has lived. We're only going to be in this box of what we know, what's comfortable for us. So the key to really living the life that you want to live, living that dream for yourself, is trusting the process, not leaning on your own understanding, and following those insights, the inner call within your own heart, following your heart, taking that first step. There's a really good scene that depicts this in Indiana Jones. I forget which one it is, but he is trying to find the Holy Grail. And in this book that has all these clues, he needs to walk across this bridge, but there's no there's no ground in front of him. But in the book it says he needs to take the step. And so he takes a step and there's a ground there. There's an invisible bridge. But if he didn't trust that there was ground there, he wouldn't have taken the step. He wouldn't have found the Holy Grail. He wouldn't have saved his dad in the end of the movie. Sorry to spoil it for you. Um, but I think it's a very important lesson for all of us because a lot of times we're too scared to take that first step. We don't think that there's ground that'll catch us if we take the step. So we just stay where we are. But God has that plan for you. He has seeded that call within your own heart, that inspiration or that idea, whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about for you. And in following that, you hit the sweet spot of life within your own self. When you hit the sweet spot of something, it travels a lot further, you get a lot more out of it. Same thing is true for you. You have a sweet spot in life, and usually that sweet spot is the the point that intersects your gifts, your passions, the inspirations within yourself, the ideas. And in following that, you get more out of life. It's like you hit that sweet spot. Life begins to open up for you. Opportunities come your way. It's crazy how it works. But it's like your reward from God for following those things. Because there is a plan for you. You weren't put here by accident. But if you get so used to living from that logical, fear based mind that needs to overanalyze everything, needing to know how it's all going to work out, you're just going to stay exactly where you are. You'll be too scared to take that first step. And you'll be wondering, at the end of your life, wow, well, what would have happened if I did that? if I would have lived that life that was true to me. It's the number one regret of the dying, not living a life true to themselves, authentic to them, worrying about what other people thought, or worse, getting in our own way, holding ourselves back with the fear and the doubt and the negative self talk that says we can't do it, or again, it doesn't make sense. It's not possible. It is possible. If you had the idea, if you had the dream, it was given it's there for a reason. It's there because it is possible. Not only is it possible, it's already happening. It's happening in a different timeline because there are infinite timelines happening right now. And in order to pull forth a different timeline for ourselves, we need to be someone different energetically, how we think, how we feel, how we behave. You need to actually become that person now before that reality comes to you energetically or in your physical reality. So, in shifting who you are, you begin to walk the path. And walking the path is very important. Very important because that's the only way to get to where you want to get to. Lao Tzu had a quote and he said, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step." That's it. You got to take the first step. And taking the first step is like that step that Indiana Jones took in the movie, not knowing if there's anything that'll catch him, but he took the step anyways. And it all worked out for him. And the same thing is true. It'll all work out for you when you get out of your own way, when you start to trust the process, trust that you are being guided by something greater than yourself, because you are. When you rely on your own limited understanding, your own logical mind, your conditioning, you get more of the same in life. But when you give it to something greater, your life can become something greater. Now, I'm not saying it's always a comfortable process. It's actually quite uncomfortable because if you were the person that could live the dream that you want to live, you would already have it. What happens is when we ask for something, you'll receive it, just like it says in the Bible, ask and you shall receive. Now, it might not be in the tangible manifestation of what you ask for, but usually it's in the form of a sign, a calling, an insight, an inspiration, a dream, and it's giving you a piece of the roadmap to get there. But the thing is usually these callings, these insights, these ideas make us very uncomfortable. They push us outside our comfort zone. They make us expand who we are because it's shaping you into the person that can live that dream. Again, if you were the person right now who could live the dream that you want, you would already be living it. If you acted, if you thought, if you had the emotions and the energetic state of that person, you would be living that dream right now. So that greater intelligence that is behind the unfolding of life and all of the amazing things that are happening and have happened is also trying to guide you in your life. Because again, you're not here by accident. And if you allow yourself to trust the process, to let go of your own understanding and need to know how, and focus on what you want and who you need to become, and walking that path, you then life begins then to open up for you, and you more opportunities come your way, more insights, more inspirations come your way, and the path becomes more clear, but only through taking the step. You will be rewarded when you take immediate action on these things. God rewards action, but when you hesitate, you miss the opportunity. Your inspiration or your motivation diminishes. Hesitation kills inspiration. That's why it's so important when you have an insight or an idea to just take some sort of action step. You don't have to turn your whole life upside down. Rome wasn't built in a day, but do something small to fuel that fire within yourself. Because the more you fuel that fire, the more it comes to you, the more ideas come to you, the more that inspiration grows. And again, the more clear the path becomes. You're not At first, you're not sure how it all looks, but the more you walk that path, the more you're like, oh, okay, I can see not just one step in front of me, I can see 10 steps in front of me now. So I hope this video helps you get out of your own way, because we all stand in our own way. It's the only thing that is standing in our own way of us living the life that we want to live. So forget about the how, trust the process, and focus on what you want and who you need to be. Start walking that path and follow your heart. I'll see you in the next video.